How are you? Today we will try to explain about Daniel prophecy, that means Daniel 2, and what is the relation between Daniel 2 and the present time. According to that means Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, he saw a dream. That means the mastery of dream of Daniel 2. And in the second year of a reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep break from him. This is the dream the king of Babylon. Daniel was carried into captivity in the first year of the speech Nebuchadnezzar. For 3 years he was placed under instruction, during which time he would not, of course, be reckoned among that means the wise men of kingdom, not take part in public affair at that time. Yet in the second year of Nebuchadnezzar, the transaction recorded in the that means chapter took place. How then could Daniel be brought in to interpret the king's dream in his second year? The explanation lies in the fact that Nebuchadnezzar reigned for 2 years conjointly with his father. What is the father of Nebuchadnezzar? Nabopolassar. From this point, the Jew reckoned, while the Chaldean reckoned from the time he began to reign alone on the death of his father. It appears that the next year after Daniel had completed his preparation to participate in the affair of the Chaldean Empire, the providence of God brought him into sudden and remarkable province through the kingdom. Babylon, the first world empire, was the greatest and richest and most influential of all the empire. That means in the known civilized world. It also had the most powerful king. This leader of men had managed by sheer force to put down his enemy one by one, until his kingdom stood as the queen of nations. In the second year of his reign, King Nebuchadnezzar went to bed, wondering just how long his kingdom would endure. He wanted to know about the future. That night, God looked down from heaven and chose to entrust this that means benevolent dictator with look into the future. The king had a strange dream, and when he awoke, he was really upset. He couldn't remember the dream, but he knew it was important. So that the great image of that means Nebuchadnezzar saw is the heat is gold. A man, he saw a man. That means the heat of gold represent Babylon. That means Babylon reigned from 605 to 539 BC. The breast of silver is also represent Medo-Persian kingdom. That means which reigned from 539 up to 331 BC. The tie of brass is what the kingdom of Greece. That means which started from 331. That means BC up to 168 BC. Legs of iron also is what represent Rome. That means 168 BC up to what? That means 476 AD. Feet of iron, and that means iron which is mixed with clay is that means is a divided nation of Europe. When Europe is divided, so that where Europe was divided from what 476 AD up to the present. So the we try to explain in detail those Daniel. That means from book of Daniel. Then the king commanded to call the magician and the astrologer and the sorcerer and the Chaldean for to show the king his dream. So they came and stood before the king, and the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. He sent for his wise men and a magician and told them he had dreamed a dream, and was anxious to know the meaning of dream, so that we must understand about the dream of kingdom of Babylon. Wise man means physicist, magician means caster of spell and watches. Astrologers means foretelling future by star, charts, fortune tellers. We can call them fortune tellers. Sorcerers means claim to communicate with the dead. Call them spiritualist. Chaldeans means philosophers of physics, divination, and numerology. Then we continue from the book of Daniel. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell your servant the dream. We will show the interpretation. Daniel 2:4. It's clear that these ancient magicians and astrologers seem to have been clever in getting enough information to be able to give answer in such a vague manner that they would seem night. That means whichever way the event turned out. Now, true to their cunning instinct, they called upon the king to make known to them his dream. If they could get full information respecting this, they could easily agree on some interpretation which would not endanger their reputation. They spoke to the king in Syriac, in dialect of the Chaldean language, which was used by the educated and cultured classes from this point to the end of Daniel. That means 7. The record continue in Chaldaic, the language spoken by the king. So we continue. The king answered and said to the Chaldean, the thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be what made a dunghill. But if you show the dream and the interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gift and reward, and a great honor thereof. Show me the dream, the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servant the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. Daniel 2:5-7. These men claim to have access to all the secret of the living and the dead, past and the future, including the knowledge of the gods. This was not an unreasonable request the king was asking of them. If all their boastful claim were true, it is important to realize that in all age of Earth's history, Satan has tried to duplicate the power of God, but his counterfeit do not come close to the 100% accuracy of God's prophetic word. Then the king answered and said, I know of certain that you would gain the time, because you see the thing is gone from me. But if you will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show me the interpretation of Daniel 2:8-9. The wise men and the magician were confident that they could easily make up an interpretation to please the king if they knew the dream, but no one could dare to make up the dream as well. The Chaldean answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asked such things at any magician or astrologer or a Chaldean, and it is rare thing that the king requests, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. Daniel 2:10-11. Tell us the dream and we will tell you what it means, pleaded the magician. Nobody can tell you what your dream was. No king ever asked such an reasonable things for. So, for this cause, the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. Daniel 2:12. It was obvious to the king their claim were only idle tales. They couldn't do it. They even complained that the king was being unreasonable, and this threw Nebuchadnezzar into a fury. He was so angry. He shouted, "Kill all these wise men and magicians." Some have denounced Nebuchadnezzar in this matter as heartless, unreasonable tyrant. But what this magician professed to be able to do, reveal hidden things for tell. That means even this make known mysteries entirely before human understanding by supernatural means. There was therefore nothing unjust in Nebuchadnezzar's demand that they should make known his dream. When they declared that none but the gods, whose dwelling was not with flesh, could make known the king's matter, they admitted they had no communication with these gods, and knew nothing beyond what human wisdom could reveal. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellow to be slain. Daniel 2:30. The soldier started collecting all the magicians to execute them. Then Daniel also, with counsel and wisdom, to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, "Why is the decree so hasty from the king?" Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Daniel 2:40 up to 50. Daniel and his friend were to die too, because they were among the wise men and the magician. "Why does the king want to kill all his wise men?" he asked. It was strange that Daniel, his companion, declared by the king 10 times better than all his magician and astrologer, were not called first in this matter, but God had a reason for this. Had the king called on Daniel at the first to make known the matter, the magician would not have been brought to the test, but God would give the heightened system of Chaldean the first chance. He would let them try and fail, that they may be the better prepared to acknowledge his intervention when he should finally manifest his power in behalf of his captive servant and for the honor of his name. Daniel first learning of the situation when the executioners come for his arrest, asked for time that he might counsel the God whose dwelling was not with men, that means Elohim El Shaddai, and pray for wisdom to make the dream known to the king. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time and that he would show the king the interpretation. The king agreed to give Daniel time to consider the matter's privilege, which probably none of the magicians could have obtained, as the king had already accused them of preparing false words and seeking to gain time for this very purpose. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companion, that they would desire mercy of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellow should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed into Daniel in the night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. After he prayed, he saw the secret of that dream. Our focus is also on that. That means this dream which gave Daniel power and authority. Daniel at once went to his 3 companions and asked them to unite with him in asking light from the God of heaven, that means Elohim, concerning this secret. He could have prayed alone and doubtless would have been heard, but in the union of God's people, there is prevailing power. The promise tells us that when 2 or 3 shall agree as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of the Father. That means Elohim, which is in heaven. Matthew 18, 19 up to 20. So that we must understand this dream was so difficult, but prayer makes and Daniel, who he interpret. So that Daniel, Hyman of Price, after that Daniel was priced, and that means Daniel answered and said, "Blessed be the name of the God forever, forever, ever. For wisdom and might are His." That means Elohim, and He changes the time and the season. He removes the kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom into the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He reveals the deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness. And the light dwells with him. I thank you and I praise you, oh, the God of my father, that means the father Abraham, that means Isaac, Jacob, who has given me wisdom. Now, who has given that means Daniel praises his God and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of you, for thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Daniel offered us, that means a price to God for his gracious dealing with them. God is honored by our praise to him for the things he has done for us, as well as by our petition to him for help. Let Daniel be our example in this. Let us not forget to return thanksgiving and praise for blessing given us. Daniel had the utmost confidence in what had been shown him. He did not first go to the kings to see if what had been revealed to him was indeed the king's dream, but immediately first of all praised God. Whenever something is that means given to you, you must give thanks to your Elohim, God, for having answered his prayer. So that the problem of the present Israelites now is what? Someone who lead you and connect you with your Elohim. Although the matter was revealed to Daniel, he did not take the honor to himself, as though it were by his prayer alone that the answer had come. That means he includes his friends in his thanksgiving. Whenever we make that means pray, making in group or congregation is must. It was said, he what we desire of you, and also has made it known to us. So Daniel, by interpreting this dream, he saved all that means the wise men of Babylonian, and his fellow also. Therefore Daniel went into Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said those into him, "Destroy not the wise men of Babylon, bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation." Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said those into him, "I have found a man of the captive of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation." Then Daniel's first plea was for the wise men of Babylon. "Destroy them not," he said, Daniel, "for the king's secret is revealed." He implored, true it was through no merit of theirs or their Haitian system of divination, that this revelation was made. They were worthy of as much as condemnation as before, but their own confession of utter impotence in the matter was humiliation enough for them, and Daniel was anxious that they should so far partake of the benefit shown him as to have their lives spared. They were saved because there was a man of God among them.